Daniel, this will be your first time in the National Stadium, and I expect Daniel to perform as well. Before we hear from both fighters, I do want to hear from both trainers first. I want to start with Don Charles. Don, I do think since Daniel Dubois has been with you, we've seen a change in Daniel Dubois. I felt like we saw that against Alexander Usyk for a few rounds. We certainly saw it against Jarrell Miller, and obviously we concluded it with that Filip Hrgović performance. What have you done to your man?
Well, it's all that. By the way, good afternoon, everybody, ladies and gentlemen, for coming down to support this great historic event. History to be made. Going back to what you asked me in terms of improvements, it's there for all to see. It's a work in progress. We've been together, myself and Daniel and the team, for 12 months. So people have to remember that it's just 12 months. And what he has done in that period, and we're operating, in my opinion, in 35/40% capacity. There's so much development and growth to come. So what he's achieved in that period, in the last 12 months, is unthinkable, and we're just getting started.
In terms of a loss on a record, a lot of people say you take a lot from your wins, but you can take a huge amount from a loss as well. When you look at that fight against Alexander Usyk, considering who Alexander Usyk is now, can you take a lot from that defeat?
Most definitely. Every disappointment, every time you go out there, whether you don't succeed, you learn from, whether it's a good or bad experience, it's still an experience and you learn from them. Obviously, we're terribly disappointed for the outcome. It was a fight of two halves. We won before we lost. So we got to learn in situations, should that happen again, to be able to close the show. So it's an experience to be learned from that situation. Of course, is as much as our conceit here, and we've accepted it basically, and acceptance is a way of cure. You move forward.
Let's go to Ben Davison, the trainer of Anthony Joshua. Ben, since AJ's been with you, I think he's looked perfect, right? I mean, we all have been hearing people say, we want to see the old AJ, the old AJ. I don't know if that adage is true, but what we can see now is that we are seeing a very, very confident Anthony Joshua. I'll ask the same question I asked to Don to you. What have you changed in AJ?
Nothing really. I just think that maybe it's the way that we articulate what it is that we want him to do, and we set out a game plan is as good as it gets when it comes to executing.
You and your team, Lee Wiley and everyone backstage, I know you're very, very articulate in terms of the way you break down fighters. You would have broken down Daniel Dubois. You would have looked at those performances. Give me a positive first about Daniel Dubois. What does he do well?
I'm not going to talk about his strengths and weaknesses. That's for us to go away, work on, dissect and plan to overcome. But like I said, we've already done the groundwork. It's just a case of going through that with AJ, and like I said, I know when it comes time to execute, there's no one better.
And so far, so good in terms of execution from Anthony Joshua. Okay, let's hear from both promoters, Frank Warren and Eddie Hearn. We'll start with the champion promoter first, and that's you, Frank Warren. Frank, you've had Daniel since he turned pro. I feel like we've seen everything with Daniel, the ups and downs. You've always backed your man, and right now you have another heavyweight champion of the world. You must feel really blessed with the story of Daniel Dubois, considering the amount of critique he got against Joe Joyce to where he is now.
He's not the challenger, he's the champion.
I said you got the champion. I said you have the champion, yeah.
The challenger. Look, he's done brilliantly. He went and fought Hrgović when a lot of people chose not to fight him. He was undefeated at the time and done a magnificent job. First couple of rounds were a little bit tough for him, but he overcome that and showed what he's all about. And the prize at the end of the day was this fight at Wembley. And it doesn't get any better than this. You've got two Brits in there fighting for the IBF title, two probably the biggest punchers in the heavyweight division. And as we all know, when you've got two quality British fighters fighting each other for such a prestigious title, or a prestigious title, you always get a classic fight. Big punchers, it won't go to distance. Somebody's going to go. I've got my opinion who I feel is going to win. That's why we've done this fight. And one thing's for sure, it's going to be exciting. And it's one of them where you can genuinely say, do not blink. Do not blink.
I was watching a few old interviews, Frank, in the lead up to doing this, and For a few years now, you've been saying you fancy Daniel Dubois against Anthony Joshua. You wanted the fight. Obviously, this gets Anthony Joshua to the table. But why have you been so confident, and why have you been wanting this fight for so long?
I think because of styles, and in the last year, Anthony has matured, not just as a fighter, mentally as well. And you've seen that. He's gone into his last 2 fights, and the bookmakers had him the underdog in both those fights, and he fought in those fights like he was the favourite. And he'd go into this fight with a lot of people, and certainly I've seen with the bookmakers as being the underdog. I don't see it that way. I've got a lot of respect for what he's done. Certainly lately, AJ, he's on a roll of 4 wins. But if you look at the last couple of fights, Anthony's fought better quality fighters. Daniel's fought better quality fighters, and I just feel it's his moment. He's 26 years of age. He can punch. He can box. He's a great finisher. If he gets you in trouble, I think he's probably one of the best finishers out there. And it's a battle of hearts and mind. That's what this fight's going to be about. Who's got the strongest heart and who's got the strongest mind? They're both big punchers, and who's going to have, to find their plan B when they get in trouble. The jab is the key to this fight.
Eddie, let's bring you in. Obviously, long-time promoter of Anthony Joshua. You've had him since after the Olympics. You've had some incredible nights. Let's not forget Wembley against Vladimir Klitschko, Wembley against Povetkin. You travelled the world with AJ for huge success. Here we go again, back Wembley Stadium. AJ looking to become a 3-time heavyweight champion of the world. Sell your man.
I mean, the resume, the history speaks for itself. Just to reiterate what Frank and Spencer said earlier about this incredible movement that we're seeing in boxing. I mean, we're 9 months into the inception of Riyadh season. And I think when we began this journey, no one believed that Riyadh season would leave Riyadh. And His Excellency says he wanted to bring a major event to the UK, to Wembley Stadium. I didn't necessarily believe him at the time. I thought it was all hyperbole in an interview. And it was the truth. What he's done is create, in my opinion, one of the biggest nights the sport has ever seen in this country. And that sits just 6 weeks after Riyadh season Los Angeles, which is fast approaching as well. So we're very lucky to be on this journey, and very lucky to be on the journey with Anthony Joshua. I mean, quite nostalgic walking around today, thinking back to the days of where we were. I suppose we were the rookies, really, walking around Wembley Stadium with 90,000 people, hearts beating out of our chest as he dethroned Vladimir Klitschko in the other greatest night in British boxing history. And he gets to do it all again here to become a 3-time world heavyweight champion. An accolade that sits with very, very few. And it's a real fight. We respect Daniel Dubois. I think he's done incredibly well. There weren't many screaming out to fight Filip Hrgović. He did it. He stepped up. And I'm so glad that he's champion, because AJ can come in, as he always does, with a challenger mindset. But when he beats Daniel Dubois, he would have beaten another champion to become a 3-time world champion. This is just part of the journey to undisputed, which we've never lost sight of. And we see it. We see it clearer than ever. In the shape of his life, in the form of his life. This man to my right has done an incredible job. So in terms of selling him, just sit back and watch a night that he's going to make the hairs on the back of your neck stand up. A thrilling main event, 2 Brits fighting for the world heavyweight title, and a breathtaking undercard with these guys down here that's just been put together in the most stunning fashion.
Final one, Eddie. If I were to have asked you or told you that AJ is going to be fighting in front of 90,000 at Wembley Stadium and it's going to be a Frank Warren fighter, you probably wouldn't have thought it would be Daniel Dubois. How incredible has his turnaround been?
AJ never really asks who he's fighting. Obviously, myself, and I want to thank as well 258 that have done an incredible job throughout the journey as well. Take care of the business with AJ. He will fight anybody. And when Daniel got the victory, that was the opponent. It just happens to come with a shiny red and gold belt that makes even more history for, I think, one of the most pivotal characters in the history of our sport in this country, in Anthony. And it just feels perfect. The timing feels perfect. So confident, so relaxed. It's just like bread and butter for Anthony Joshua these days. Another stadium, another big challenge, more pressure, ready to do the business.
Ready to do the business indeed. All right, let's hear from our 2 main event fighters. Let's start with the champion, Daniel Dubois, the new IBF heavyweight champion of the world. Does it feel a bit different? You've heard me say that now a few times, the IBF heavyweight champion of the world. That's a dream, right? Fighters start out and they want to become champions. You now are that. Does it feel any different?
Yeah, A little bit, finding out. I would have loved to win it on the night of my last fight, but, here we are. I'm grateful, I'm blessed, and, we keep going.
Have you found out something about yourself with your last two performances? You had to dig really deep against Jarrell Miller. You found something. You found that second win and got the late stoppage. You had to dig really deep against Filip Hrgović, and you found something there as well. Do you feel like you're finding something out about yourself after every single fight?
Definitely, I'm learning more about myself, how to be, as a fighter, as a person, coming out of the darkness, going into the light, and, being the man of the future and, improving all round as a fighter and athlete. So, really up for this, ready to go.
I asked Frank about the call-outs for AJ. You've also been calling out Anthony Joshua for a while. For a long time, he was the top dog. Was that the call-out, or was there anything else in it?
That's just where I'm aiming for, to be the best, to fight the best and beat the best. And, AJ's been the king for a long time. And, we all know he's been the king for a very long time. And on the night, I need to become a king slayer. And that's my goal, and that's the mission at hand. So I'm just ready to go.
You are underdog in this fight. That doesn't really mean much because you've been underdog against Jarrell Miller and you were underdog against Filip Hrgović. How confident are you, Daniel, that you can get the job done September 21st?
I'm ready to let my fist do the talking, I'm 100% ready to go. I'm going to go to camp, focus, and train like a beast. So, bring it on.
As you've always done, bring it on, Daniel Dubois. Let's go to AJ, two-time former unified heavyweight champion of the world. Here we are again. As you've always said to me, next man up.
Yeah, correct, next man up. Congratulations to Daniel for winning his last fight. I went out there to watch it live, and we're here now. And before I carry on, we have to give a shout out to all the promoters on the table for bringing this card together, and especially His Excellency as well, because he's brought me some unbelievable opportunities to fight, and this one is near enough topping it, bringing Riyadh season to the UK. Phenomenal opportunity, but as I said, I went out there to watch the fight. Good fight between the two of them, Hrgović and Dubois. I picked Dubois to win as well. Yep. I watched boxing closely, and I picked him before, and it came true, and we're here. So I've been having Dubois on my mind for a while, and he'll be on my mind for the next 12 weeks until I get my hand raised.
You say you've had him on your mind for a while. I mean, you've always been linked with Deontay Wilder and potentially a Joseph Parker rematch. Tyson Fury's name has been mentioned for the past decade.
Yeah.
Not much Daniel Dubois. So you've had to almost, I guess, realign your mind quite quickly, right, recently, because he's not really been thought of as your opponent.
No, not like the way they mention like Fury or they mention Wilder. Not in that same breath, but I'm not silly either. I know the game. We're all in the wild, innit? We're a pack of lions and we're hunters, so I've got to keep my eyes peeled. I can't just focus on those two and not worry about anyone else. So I've always kept my eyes peeled on Daniel and the rest of the heavyweights as well. So whoever it was going to be in there on that seat, I would have still been ready to fight September. So it just happens to be him now.
Yeah, obviously, look, it's a massive night for Riyadh season. We are going back to Wembley Stadium. You were so successful there against Vladimir Klitschko, against Povetkin. Is the carrot being dangled, that extra kind of cream on top, if you like, the fact that you are looking to become a three-time heavyweight champion of the world?
Not necessarily, if I'm honest with you, because the goal's just getting through a successful training camp, doing exactly what I need to do, instructed by my team and my coach, and then performing on the night. And then the shiny stuff comes at a later date. But for me, the goal is just to kind of focus on what's in front of me. And that's a good training camp, it's a good performance, and everything else comes after that.
He's a young man, Daniel Dubois, only 26 years of age, right? He's been around for a long time. You're slightly older, obviously still in fantastic shape, but slightly older, Anthony. What's it like now, these new young heavyweights coming up that you've almost got to slay?
Well, being an old man, basically.
Being an older man.
I feel fresh. There's my shoulders clicking. Nah, I feel good. Like, no, I don't drink, don't smoke. Have a little turn up now and again, but I still don't drink, don't smoke. That's about it. That's my only vice, just socializing. So I feel good. Thank God I didn't get caught up in no antics outside of boxing. I use boxing as a path to keep me on the straight and narrow. I didn't use it as a path to kind of take me off it. So yeah, young fighters coming up, look after your bodies, look after your minds. It will pay dividends in the long run. So for this fight here with Daniel, it don't matter if I was 35 and he was 15, 20, 25. It don't matter. It's just a fight, and I'm in peak condition. I feel good. I feel strong. So yeah, age is just a number in this one.
All right, I do want to get the final words from Eddie and Frank. I was going to ask this question to AJ, but I know how AJ won't answer it, so I'm going to come to you. And AJ, feel free to jump in if you want to on it. Obviously, this is for a heavyweight title. There is a big fight December as well, Tyson Fury versus Alexander Usyk. Is the big plan here, Eddie, potentially, if AJ comes through this one, to fight the winner of Tyson Fury and Alexander Usyk?
I think the answer from AJ would, of course, be September 21. But as a team, we have a plan, we have a vision, and we've always believed he will be undisputed champion. As it happens, the rise or the re-rise of Anthony Joshua has given us more confidence than ever. And we don't see anybody in the division beating him. Not just Daniel Dubois, anybody. And again, that's the work that he's put in. You know, he talks about he doesn't drink, he doesn't smoke. Any young fighter, any young sportsman wants to understand how to live your life, follow Anthony Joshua. Every day's training camp. You know, it's not how long do I have to get ready. It's just he's ready and he just turns it up when camp begins. So we've had a dream, been manifesting the undisputed championship, and that's what's going to happen. It's not a case of if or maybe, and there's no plan, there's no contract to fight the winner. It's just going to happen. He's going to win this fight, and then he's going to beat the winner of Fury Usyk. But he's just focused on September 21. I've just got wild dreams that I just know are going to happen because I can see it, I can smell it, and I can breathe it. I can't wait.
Frank, obviously, I have to give you a chance to rebuttal on that. Obviously, look, your guy could be potentially fighting for an undisputed heavyweight title. What do you make of Eddie's words there that it's going to happen? You can already see it in the stars.
Eddie's very confident of Anthony, and I'm very confident of Daniel. We'll find out on the night. You know, styles make fights, all those cliches, everything. But you know what? Once that bell goes, they're going to get down on it, and it will be exciting. There's no doubt about it. They ain't going to be fiddling around trying to feel each other out. This is going to be warfare in the ring. That's what it will be. This is going to be a great, great fight. And this man here is going to be successful in defending his title. That is how I see the fight, and nobody's going to change my opinion on that. That's how I see it, and I believe he'll do it.
Great fight, great main event, great undercard as well. Sorry.
And just, I've got to say it, don't forget, this Riyadh season card, the Wembley edition, 21st of September, Friday. Tickets are on sale at Ticketmaster.com from midday. You better get your ticket order in now because this is a guaranteed sellout. This is absolutely the best card that's been on in the UK in my time in boxing. A fabulous, fabulous night of quality boxing thanks to the Riyadh season. Don't miss it.